I'm Sara Watson. I'm from Narragansett, and I am Carol McKenty's constituent. And I wanted to give her a special thank you, and to the chairman and the vice chairman and the committee members. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak. The guy that you've been hearing all night is Eli. He's my son. He was wanted from the beginning. I was there for every moment in the process of conceiving my son. I was there when we started our 2.5-year IVF journey. I went to every single prenatal appointment. I was present for every minute of his 29-hour labor and delivery. And I've spent the last 15 months with him hiding in my lap when he's scared and seeking comfort when he hurts himself. I am his parent. There was never 1 second where I didn't want to be his mom, and there was never anyone else standing up saying, "This kid's not yours, he's mine." I think it's easy to confuse being a parent with being a biological parent of a child, especially if you and your partner are both biological parents of your children. But please listen to me. The parentage law from 1979, as it has stood, is not fair to me or my son. I want to be seen as a parent from my child's birth. I've heard the argument that birth certificates are supposed to be a document of genetic lineage, and putting a person on this document who's not a genetic parent alters this purpose. But the fact is that a birth certificate is an intent to parent. It's not a genetic roadmap. A woman can choose whoever she wants to put on her child's birth certificate as long as he identifies as male and consents to be on it. A straight infertile man who uses donor sperm to conceive with his female partner can put his name on the child's birth certificate before leaving the hospital. No one asks him to provide a biological link. Everyone is thankful that this man, who had the unfortunate luck of having infertility, is now a dad. And they let him walk out of the hospital with his name on the child's birth certificate and a baby in his arms. A woman who uses donor eggs is clearly the mother of that child, although she has no genetic link to the child at all. Why? Because being a parent is not predicated on genes. I would also challenge the notion that birth certificates are not that important, that non-biological parents can easily adopt to get their names on the birth certificate. I started the process of adoption before my son was even born, and it took me almost 8 months to adopt him. In that 8-month period, my partner was the only presumed legal parent on my son's birth certificate, which meant during that 8-month period, I could not give him my last name, which is his name. He had to go home from the hospital with his birth mother's last name. I could not pick my son up from daycare without my partner's written permission. I could not add my son to my insurance without special dispensation, which is our family's primary insurance. I could not apply for temporary caregivers insurance without speaking to the director of TCI to get an exemption. I could not designate my son as a beneficiary on my 529 college savings account. I could not apply for a passport for my son so that we could travel with him, and I could not have taken him home from the hospital without going to court if my partner had died in childbirth. So why am I so frustrated by this? Because Rhode Island straight couples do not have to worry about the things I just listed, because they're able to attest to the fact that they're parents before they leave the hospital with their children, whether they share blood with their children or not. They sign one simple piece of paper and they are presumed parents. No such paper exists for me, and this bill changes that. This bill is meant to fill in the gaps and secure the rights of anyone who is the obvious parent, but not the biological one. Families are not defined by a fertile man and a fertile woman. It is naive to think that this is the case. One would never argue that a straight infertile man is any less of a father to his son if he and his female partner have had to use a sperm donor. Please don't treat me like I have to prove a link to my son when no straight couple has to do so. A birth certificate is an intent to parent, and parents are not homogenous. Some are married, some are not. Some are cis, and some are transgender. Some have used a surrogate, some are gay, some have used donor eggs or donor sperm. What is vital is that we acknowledge who is waiting for them when kids come screaming into this world and not make it harder for these parents to secure a relationship to their children. Thank you for your time.